Welcome back to this channel. It's Tavis Liberty bringing to you 3 stocks I'm buying this month in July. And these 3 stocks are currently going after the electric future, and that is specifically tackling the whole issue that we have around using fossil fuels that can cause harm to the environment. So the future we're looking at is going to be dramatically different, and what I'm currently trying to do is to invest in companies that are tackling the whole ecosystem of electrification. So that is taking a look at the companies dealing with the mining of the mining of the materials used for building the batteries, the companies building the batteries, the companies dealing with the infrastructure, the energy generation, the companies building the vehicles that where customers are going to be using for different applications. And just the entire ecosystem around that has gotten me excited. And the 3 companies that I have, that's one thing they have in common. Now 2 of the 3 companies have something else in common, and that is they are built, or they were built by CEO founders who are passionate, driven and focused on the goals that they're trying to achieve, and that is usually a recipe for success. If you look at some of the greatest companies that were founded, if you look at what Apple has done in the past, what Amazon has actually achieved, what Facebook has achieved, what Tesla has achieved, you look at those things that those companies have achieved, and it's just phenomenal. The return that these CEO founders, because they really have what they call skin in the game, they have their own personal finances, their reputation and everything tied into that company. So they really want to see it succeed as much as possible, and that works out in our benefit as well. One thing I also want you guys to remember, us as investors, we cannot just solely think about our investments as just a stock. For me personally, it's about I am investing in a company. Okay, I'm investing in a piece of the business, and what that ends up looking like for me is that I want to know how my businesses are being run, who are the people running them, things like that. I want to know some of the numbers. How long does it take to build out factories and so on, so that they're able to produce and end a good or service, a widget to the end user, to the customer. Okay, so that's how I usually approach it. First one on the list is Akimoto, and Akimoto is a company that I've been buying since September 2020. I first bought Akimoto around the $7 per share type of range, and I've been buying in ever since, just on a periodical basis, just continuously add to my position, and that is working out really well for me. But anyways, one of the things I really like about Akimoto is that it's run by a very passionate CEO founder. He went out after he sold one of his companies that he jointly owned with several other people, and he really sat down and thought about, okay, I want to be able to do this, but there's no one providing this thing that I want, so guess what, I'm gonna have to build it myself. And that's usually a really good sign of someone who has sat down and thought about the problem that they're trying to solve, and they look at it from a point of view of changing personal mobility, the last mile delivery services, like if you can imagine groceries, and not even only groceries but any kind of delivery that would be at the end of the line, getting that good or service to your house. Okay, so they've thought about those things. Rapid response type of things, where you have emergency services like fire services, or rescuing people in a scenario where there has been some kind of natural disaster. If you can imagine hurricanes and tsunamis and so on, they can be able to respond quickly, to be able to navigate in and around certain terrain that traditional vehicles might not be so easy to navigate on. Okay, so those are just some of the things they've tackled. They're currently building out a new factory where they're going looking to take it to the next level of production, because production is one of the hardest things to solve. Going from prototype to production is really difficult. Anyways, they're really looking at those types of problems and trying to improve. They also took a look at, so I mentioned iterative design. If I haven't, then I'm introducing it now. So they're looking at the point of how can we take feedback from users, how can we take some of that feedback and actually iterate over that, making it better and better with each release that we make. Okay, and they're looking at manufacturing these vehicles, or building them on a platform, a single platform that can allow them to create on modular designs. So they're really looking at those types of problems, and it's really interesting to see them continuously improve. And I'm looking forward to owning the company for at least a decade or so, as long as they continue to deliver in line with my own principles. So that is in the EV space, specifically tackling the problem of personal mobility, last mile delivery services, and rapid response in some other sectors as well, possibly even agriculture into the future, but we'll see. Second one on the list is Arrival. And Arrival was founded by a British person, and that's a person I see to be another passionate CEO, also focused and driven as well. So he's a CEO founder, still running the company. And again, the type of people they have behind the company are really thinking about how can we change and improve the entire manufacturing process, and the way we think about solving efficiencies, or how can we improve anything about the production line that we, however we can benefit. And so that's one of the things they've thought about. So they have a modular design as well, and they also have these micro factories that they can build for several millions of dollars cheaper. Like, I'm talking tens of millions of dollars cheaper than you would for a traditional factory. And also they're much more compact, so you can build them much closer to where you need to provide the supply. Say for example, they're going to be going after a target market where it's a fleet of delivery services, and they can just build a micro factory very close and churn out, say, 10,000 vehicles per year. It would be very cheap, and they'd be able to build it much quicker, get all the equipment and everything on site at a much quicker rate, and start producing these vehicles. And immediately you see a benefit like that. So that's one of the reasons I'm very excited. And the types of vehicles they're building are for public transportation, say buses as an example. They're also thinking about doing delivery type vehicles, as you might see for some like UPS and FedEx, those types of delivery services. So they work really handy, and they're going to be into the future also building vehicles for customers, single customers like myself and whoever else. So one of the things I'm really excited about is possibly their vans that are coming. And if I think about the whole way they've thought about modular design, I'm really excited to see what they can do to maximize the space of the vehicle internally and to take the customer feedback. They're very obsessed with getting feedback from customers. So I've seen a video where they've had drivers actually attend on a day and take a look at the vehicle, drive it around a bit, and just make suggestions, small tweaks here and there. And that's what really matters, because if you can satisfy more customers by adding the little tweaks that they really want to see, then I think that can deliver the best value. Okay, so that's, again, I'm very excited about Arrival. And I started buying around October 2020, and I've continuously been adding to my position ever since, as my knowledge and understanding about what the company is doing has actually grown. So I'm continuously adding to my position. And the final one on the list is more of a strategical play. So this is one thing. I've looked at the ecosystem of companies that I own in the electrification future space, and one thing I noticed I was lacking was the charging infrastructure companies. So I did a little bit of research. It came down that I was gonna make a choice between ChargePoint and Blink. And if you were to try and guess which one made it in the end, I went for ChargePoint. So I went for it for several different reasons. One of those reasons is that it is the largest in terms of operation internationally. So there's some other big players in North America, as an example, more specifically the United States. They have Electrify America, but it operates in a very small market. So ChargePoint operates in a much bigger market, and they are going after not only, say, public charging infrastructure, but they're also going after the personal charging infrastructure that you would have a hub outside your house, or at the more large scale they would have hubs outside companies or businesses, and they would also have some charging infrastructure built out in different retail destinations and so on. So they're looking to get their charging hubs at some of the most popular spots where customers can actually interact with their charge points. They're very small devices, more compact than some of the bigger ones. They're not particularly exciting, but they are building infrastructure and creating partnerships with other companies as well to enable them to have charging infrastructure built out. So it's not very exciting, but that is one of the reasons. And again, they're thinking about how can they continuously improve their technologies that they're deploying to sites, and that's just one of the reasons I also like them. Not very exciting though. I currently just have a small position. I started buying in June 2021, June of this year, and just looking to build out my position gradually. I'm not in a great rush because I do not believe this company is gonna grow too fast, too quickly. So I'll just take my time and just add to my position whenever I feel inclined to do so. So it's just a quick recap. I spoke about 3 companies that I've decided to start investing, or sort of, because I have already been buying some of these companies previously. So just basically adding to my positions. So first one on the list was Akimoto. A second one was Arrival, and the third one ChargePoint. So the thing I really liked about Akimoto and and Arrival is that they're driven, or they're run by CEO founders who are passionate, driven and focused. Okay, usually a very good recipe for success. They're also thinking about changing the way that they manufacture the vehicles. They're looking to improve iteratively each time they produce something, and they're really looking at a modular design as well as building on a single platform. And one thing I forgot to mention when I spoke about Arrival is that they are building they've built a research facility where they've created a composite material, and that composite material is actually the color of the vehicle through and through. So if the vehicle gets a scratch or some kind of damage, you can easily shape it back and maybe just buff that out and it will be the same color. So that's lower maintenance from the point of view of fleet vehicles, which are more likely to get damaged by the drivers. Okay, so they really thought about these types of things, and I'm excited to see what they're going to be doing in the future. And ChargePoint, again, is just me trying to buy into that whole electrification future, where I own everything from mining the materials out of the ground to the companies actually building the infrastructure on which the charging grid is used. And all of this, right, has to come into it, the equation. The companies building the vehicles as well. And I just want to own the entire ecosystem. Even the companies producing the chips are very important. So that's the way I'm thinking about these problems. I'm thinking about ecosystem. How can I buy into the entire process, from materials straight on to the end user, the software companies as well, very important. All of it comes into one big picture, and that's the type of investing you need to be doing in order to add value to your portfolio and really invest in future companies as well. Okay, so I just want to close it out there for you. If you really want to check out some of my other videos, I'll try to add a couple of links to other videos that you can probably watch to lead on to some of my more innovative ideas and so on. And feel free to subscribe to my video. Also remember to like the video if you enjoyed watching it, and I'm looking forward to bringing more for you. Alright, thanks for watching. Tavis Liberty.